Okay, so the guide should snap by default, and you can move it after the fact as long as you don't have your guides locked. You know if they're locked or not by looking in the view menu. Anyway, the guides are going to help us. Those are going to be our horizontal lines, so that when we take it into Maya, we can guarantee that each of these is going to have the same proportion. So I'm going to drag multiple of these up. I'm going to drag one to the top of his shell, another one to the top of the head, and I think I'll do another one to the bottom of the shell. Now the shell is a little bit scawampus, so I'm going to try to choose kind of an in-between point. And so there's my guides. Okay. Now I'm going to drag this turtle up out of the way, and I'm going to start drawing it from the side view. So I go back to my brush, except I want to do this on a new layer. So I click on the new layer icon in the palette, in the layers menu, layers palette I should say, and I'm going to start drawing it. Now something I forgot to do, but it just so happens that the height of his head is important, right? So I forgot to add a guide so that I could know the height of his head. But I got lucky though that the height of his head is roughly the same height as the back of his shell. Or the lower part of his head is roughly as high as the upper part of his shell. Okay, so I'm going to do the side view first. And I need to undo. Now what's happening is it's snapping to these guidelines. So what I need to do is turn off snap. So I go to view, snap, and turn that off. Now it's not going to try to, those lines won't have any gravity per se. So I'm going to draw his head from what I think it looks like from the side. And again, I'm not worried about like the interior details at this point. I'm just focused on the silhouette. And I want the silhouette to look like it could match the silhouette of this guy up here. Okay. So I'm going to go to my eraser tool. Then the feet, I think, are probably not buried, but kind of right in here. That's a little big, so I'll undo. Control-Alt-Z will undo multiple steps. So, again, I'm just going to try to wrap this up relatively quick for your guys' sake. And then you add another layer so I can get a little bit more detail on him this time. Zoom in. Shrink my brush down. I'm going to turn the opacity down on this layer so I can use it as reference without it feeling like it's in the way. So I got really faint. Switch back to my layer 4, which is my newest layer. Doesn't have anything on it yet. And try to add in more details. Now, something that would obviously really help me a lot right now is if I had some reference pictures. If I had done a little research and got online and to Google and looked up what turtles look like, and I probably wouldn't have this turtle that looks like he has a turkey vulture head. But I didn't. Don't like that line. Okay, I'm going to get these feet kind of locked in. You know, really, if I wanted to be efficient, I could have just drawn that foot once and then copied it over, but that maybe I will. I'll just show you guys another tool maybe you're not familiar with. I just go to the clone stamp, what's called the clone stamp, and I hold down Alt. I'm going to increase my brush size. I hold down Alt, I can select what it is I want to copy and by clicking on it, and then I can, when I start drawing, it will just copy it over there. I don't have to redraw that part. Okay, and that works fine from our orthographic view. Now, you know, a lot of things bug me on this, but for sake of time, I'm going to move forward. And I want to do a front view. So I can get rid of this layer here. Add another new layer. And increase my brush size. And we'll try to draw them from the front. Keeping in mind the same restrictions on his proportion. Okay. This is turning out pretty awesome in a most sarcastic sort of way. Okay, I'm going to have it dip down in the front a little bit, I think. Okay. I'll turn this one down for reference. Go to my new layer, stick my brush down. Zoom in. And try to get some more detail on it. Thank goodness the fine art department's not here.